Hey, what's up? It's Dave here from the Matt and Dave Show, thanking you for listening and reminding you to like, share, and subscribe if you like what you hear. I think you will, but you know, I'm biased.
He's Dave. I'm Matt. And this is the Matt and Dave Show. You're such a dick. You have to look at me like that? Like this, you're looking at me like you're staring at me. Your legs are spread wide open.
I am man-spreading so bad right now.
Oh my goodness. I wish you guys could see or hear the things that happen right before he hits record.
Oh, I just like fucking with
Most of the time he gives me a heads up. Today he didn't. I was too busy rubbing my beard on the mic to make a joke, and he just hit play. So we're going to go ahead and do this thing. Hey, Dave.
I like where your head's at, buddy.
Yeah, you like that?
I like where your head's at, friend of friends.
I have no idea what we're doing today because we're just kind of we're a little bit behind the eight ball.
We are.
We're a little bit behind.
We're fine.
I've been focused on so many other things. I have not been plugged in. I can tell you, I went to see Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh shit! How was that?
That shit was good.
Yeah, is Rami Malek good?
Dude, I didn't even see Rami Malek. I saw Freddie Mercury.
Really?
Like,
I mean,
I was like, wow, this is. I mean, it was actually there were times where he was kind of Mick Jagger-ish. But
sure.
But you know, it's because that flamboyant thing.
Sure,
he had
sure.
going. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing. And there were hard times. There were times where like, ooh, don't do that because you're gonna die if you do that.
You're gonna die if you do
Ooh,
that.
don't go in
I
that
know how the
men's
story
room.
ends.
Oh no, don't do that. Ooh,
It's
ooh.
like if the Titanic was just from the point of the captain always.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. You know, and the funny thing is too, like, full disclosure. My first real fanboy touching of Queen was
Wayne's
in
World.
Wayne's World in
Yeah.
1992, right?
Which was a lot of people's.
A lot of people, but I mean, Queen is huge way before then, obviously. But I didn't realize how big they were until 1992. That was my first thing, Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah.
the song, everybody knows. Now, you know, when you hear that part of the song, everybody headbangs.
Yeah.
If you go into a room and they play that song and there is a person who is not headbanging at that part, you know that you do not want to associate with that person.
Yeah, it helps.
But
it helps.
Queen was huge. Queen was very, very huge. One of the biggest rock bands in the world. And I just had never heard of them. My family was not big on Queen. Like
No.
my mom was like a Journey fan.
Sure.
My dad was more into like the 70s and 60s like style
Yeah. No,
music,
my
the easy listening stuff.
Same.
I know
Very
your
much the
family
same.
was Elvis, so
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of Queen.
No, there was
growing up.
not.
But I've come to love and appreciate Queen, and I
Oh,
know their
yes.
catalog very well. And,
Yes.
I've listened to all of their stuff. One of the things that I knew, but I never really kind of just acknowledged to myself or talked about with anybody was just how different these four guys were.
Yes.
You know, and even going back, they showed some like actual footage at the end of the movie, and there's one like video, like an old 70s video that's just how they used to do back in the 70s of just them playing their setup.
Right.
You know,
Playing their instruments.
right.
It's
You know,
so
and
weird how that used to work.
Right, exactly, you know? Well, I mean, back in the
Yes.
70s, rock stars didn't need to look good. They just needed to sound good.
Yes.
And then
Or
MTV
musicians in general.
musicians
but yes.
in general. True, you're right. I'm sorry. So, but they talk about that like briefly in the movie, and they point that out when they ask, well, what makes you great? And they're like, well, we're just four guys who had, we're all, rejects and throwaways, and we shouldn't be together, but we are, and we're a little bit for everybody.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, this dude looks like he's like a business dude, and this dude looks like he's like a dad. He's got the sneakers and buttoned up shirt tucked into his jeans and his white sneakers, and then you got Freddie Mercury is flamboyant as hell, and he's
Right.
got his his spandex on, and like you look at them all together, like, what are these for? What kind of music are you guys?
Yeah.
And then I really started to think about, like, well, I mean, their songs are all different. Like they
Yep.
don't have a sound. They're a rock band.
Yep.
But they don't have a sound.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, they do, but it's very diverse.
It's very diverse,
Yes.
and that was what they liked, and that was what they
Yeah.
wanted to be. So it was very interesting. I loved it. It's one of those really fast movies because it takes place over their entire
right.
career.
They're cramming an entire career into
Right,
like 2.5 hours.
From when Freddie Mercury goes out to the college bar to hear them play for the first time before he's a member, right up to the Live Aid performance, and they do like a shot for shot remake of the
I saw
entire
that.
Live Aid performance.
So I saw the side by side
Yeah.
of the his performance and
Yeah.
and I've seen that Live Aid show multiple times.
Oh, I've seen that Live Aid show too. Yeah,
But
So, I
like
mean,
it
it's
was
very
cool to
famous.
see it like side by side.
And he
They nail it.
He did good.
They nail it.
They nailed it.
pretty well.
And Rami Malek, he nailed. I mean, I think he did a fantastic job. He's got to be part of the conversation. I don't know if the movie needs to be part of the conversation of Best Picture, but I think Rami Malek does need to be in the conversation for Best Actor of all the categories in award season.
Absolutely. Dude, fucking Mr. Robot.
Oh, he's fantastic. He's great.
Yeah.
So he was great, and I really appreciate when, and it didn't really feel like he was trying to be Freddie Mercury.
Right.
He put the teeth in, and he looked like him, but he didn't really try to do a voice
Like
other
an
than the
impersonation.
accent. It wasn't an impersonation.
It's like Ray Liotta in the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Like his Frank Sinatra was very like.
I would even say it like Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon. Like he did Andy Kaufman, but he wasn't trying to do an impersonation of Andy Kaufman.
He was trying to embody him.
He was exactly. So it was a very good movie. There were just some really tough parts to watch. Like, ooh,
Cringing.
you're gonna die, and that's sad.
All right.
Ooh.
So I have a question to ask you.
Yeah.
Now I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Now
I'm closing my eyes.
And he is, full disclosure, actually closing his eyes.
Thanks for backing me up.
Gotcha.
It's hard to drink my coffee and close my eyes, but keep going.
You did well.
I did.
I want you to picture that movie.
Okay.
With Sacha Baron Cohen now.
Okay, as Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Okay.
How would it be different? Because that's what it was for a long time.
He was attached. He never actually.
I mean, until they had he was it for a while. Is it as good?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. He's really kind of big.
He's a big dude, yeah.
He's a really big dude.
And to be fair, Rami Malek's a very small dude, too.
Very small dude.
Yeah.
But I think he's more in line of what Freddie Mercury
skinnier,
was.
yes.
Yeah. It definitely would have. I would be interested to see what that would look like.
Yeah.
I can't say that the movie would be any different. I mean, it's tough. You think of Sacha Baron Cohen, and he's good.
Talented dude.
He's very talented, but his stuff has always been kind of comedic,
funny,
and almost too comical to. But I mean, you look at Jim Carrey, the same thing.
Exactly.
Like when Jim, you're like, hey, how are you going to do this? And he did it. He pulled it off. I think he could have done it. It might have even been better.
Yeah.
I think it might have even been better.
Yeah, you think?
I think so, yeah. I think because...
For all the Best Actor things you just threw at...
Oh, there's no doubt. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you think it might have been a little better?
I think it probably...
If he could have gotten the physicality of it.
Yeah. I think because, for me, I think Sacha Baron Cohen has better range than Rami Malek.
I think so, too.
I think so, yeah. I think he has better range.
Yeah.
But... That being said, takes nothing away from what I saw.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm glad I saw the movie that I did.
Nope, good.
I'm glad that Rami Malek did a good job. I'm glad that he was the guy, and I would see it again. But yeah, I it would be an interesting take.
Sure.
I would see it.
Sure.
But I'm not upset that it wasn't him.
Cool. All right. I'm just curious.
Does that help?
No,
Does
it
that
is. Yeah, because I was
that's not a way to like take a stance, but that's how I feel about it.
No. And there's no there's no right or wrong answer about it. There's no
That's right. It's my fucking opinion.
Yeah, it's all your opinion, dude. But as someone who is because when I heard Sacha Baron Cohen, I was very excited. Yeah. I was like, yes.
Well, that was when Bryan Singer was directing, too.
Yeah,
and Bryan Singer actually started directing this movie
for
a while.
I mean, this movie, for all the shit this movie ate,
yeah,
I'm surprised it, A, got made, and B, is as good as it is.
And doing as well as it is.
Yeah.
I think it opened #1. Now, obviously, it wasn't going to stay #1 because you have Fantastic Beasts coming out the week after.
Right, which did not do well.
I did not hear that.
It didn't.
Really?
It has the lowest Harry Potter opening by a lot.
Really?
Yeah, we're lowest Harry Potter opening is
well, do you want to switch gears and start talking about that? Because I've got some. I haven't seen it yet, but I have some things to say.
Oh, please! I'd love to talk about that.
Okay. Have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well,
that
seems like one. That seems like one that you might go see in the theaters.
Yeah, I'd definitely see it. The one thing I did want to add, and I saw it too, was how accurate they cast the rest of the band, like Brian May and all that.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like
it's
how
like just wonderful casting. Like give that casting agent like all the raises on the fucking planet.
What was great too is there's actually a couple of things I want to talk about. I'm glad you went backwards.
Okay.
So.
Are we talking about the Mike Myers?
The guy? No, not that yet. But that is one of the things.
Okay.
You know about this?
I do know about that. Yeah.
So the guy who plays the manager for I'm trying to think of what label signed them right away.
Just make it up at this moment.
Whatever the label was, the label guy who signed them, he was played by the same dude in Game of Thrones that played. Oh shit. I had names, man. I can't fucking. Peter? Was that his name? The slimeball dude who is like.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Okay, well, there's this slimeball dude who forever and a day was like backstabbing everybody.
No.
Like he'd be like, "I'm your best friend. I'm going to take care
Just
of you."
kidding.
And boom.
Shoot.
Well, he was like the record producer guy. He was a cool guy, but he got this like backstabbing moment happen to him.
Yeah.
So for Game of Thrones fans, it was like, ooh,
got it.
That's funny. Now you get it. Even though it was a completely different character, completely different world. It's the same actor. It doesn't matter. He's probably a nice guy.
I still associate it with you.
Right. He's probably
and
a
I'm
nice
glad
guy.
you got your comeuppance.
Exactly. But no, you mentioned Mike Myers.
I did mention Mike Myers.
And this was good.
This is great.
Because Mike Myers was the head of the label.
Yes.
He plays the head of the label.
Yes.
Now, Mike Myers, obviously, Wayne's World. If you don't know, I just found this out, too. Like, the reason why Bohemian Rhapsody was in the first Wayne's World movie was because his brother,
of Mike Myers. Yeah,
right, he and his brother were both, like, big into it. So they would do, that's like how they would.
He fought for it.
They would each, like, he would be 4 people in the car, they'd all do the Galileos, and that's what they would do.
That was their group friend thing to do.
And he knew that he wanted that in the Wayne's World movie.
Yeah.
And the label wanted a different song.
Yeah, I think it was
what song it was.
It was like Guns N' Roses or something like something popular, like the kids would like.
Yeah, it was something popular, but he fought
like
for
Sweet
it.
Child of Mine or something like that.
Something. He fought for it, and he said, if we don't use this song, I'm not going to do the movie.
Yeah, he put his fucking dick out there.
Right, he did.
Yeah.
But they smartly used the song. It's in the movie. Now it's gone down in infamy. Everybody headbangs now. It's great. So in Bohemian Rhapsody, Mike Myers plays the head of the record label, and he wants them to go out and make this new album. And they go through this whole thing of making this album. They're on this farm. They're in this farmhouse studio. They're being really experimental, which is how they got discovered. They were in the studio being like skirting around, being experimental. So it's the album that they make Bohemian Rhapsody on. Mm-hmm. So when they get done with the album, they take it back to the studio head, and he's like, this isn't what I asked you for. This is shit. What, like, and so they play Bohemian Rhapsody, and he's like, this isn't the single. And they're like, yes, this is the single. This is it. This is the song. We love this.
Yeah.
Like, this is magic. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
People will love it the world round.
And he's like, it's awful. What is it? Is it an opera? Is it a rock song? It's 6 minutes long. You can't play that on the radio. And the guys are like, yeah, you can't play this on the radio. And Queen's like, no, fuck you. Like, we're playing this. And he's like, listen. And Mike Myers' character says, listen, this song will never be a hit single.
Right.
So Queen walks out, and they're like, you're going to be the guy who let Queen walk out on you. And he does, and it's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
It's fantastic. And it's one of those, you know, if you're not really paying attention, I think it would take you a few minutes. If you didn't know it was Mike Myers.
Sure.
I knew it right away.
Right.
But if you don't know it's him, it might take you a few. And then there's a couple of words that he says in there, you're like, that sounds like Shrek.
Yeah,
or that sounds like Austin Powers. Why does it sound like
that?
Fat
Sounds
Bastard?
like the guy that hosts the Gong Show.
Exactly. There you go. That was a huge little nod to the fans.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
great.
That shot where he says that is like straight to the camera. So it's like a wink nudge.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's fantastic.
I saw him interviewed on Colbert about it.
I did too.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. He comes out like full World War II gear for that interview.
I tell you, man, Colbert is he started off rough, but I think he's killing it now.
He's got it.
I think he's killing it. He's got some good interview skills. I think he's got a good mix of celebrities and like political or media figures.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a great job of like catering to the younger crowd. He really has.
Yeah,
he really has. And at the same time, I'm kind of getting bored with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
I used to love Jimmy Fallon's shtick, and I don't like it as much.
It's weird. It takes like 3 or 4 seasons, and then you're kind of.
I know.
How long has he been on there?
The Tonight Show?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a couple of years now.
Yeah. It's been a minute. Like
I'll tell you what. When I go to Universal
years?
again on Friday, I will look at the Tonight Show ride, and I will tell you
how
many
years.
years.
Tell me the history. Yeah. It's like 8 years. How long was he on SNL? I think he might have a shelf life.
You're right. I mean, he did SNL, and then he was trying to do movies, and then he got the late night show.
Right.
And is it late night? Was it late night?
Late
night.
Yeah, late night. Yeah, because it's now late night with Seth Meyers.
Yeah. I don't know what his shelf life is, but
I'm curious.
Yeah, me too. Thank God he's got the roots.
Oh God, dude, the roots are so good.
They really are.
Like I'll suffer through it just for the roots.
Truth.
Like you want to talk about a good get, just a great get. I will celebrate the roots like a wonderful successor to Doc Severinsen, and I'm a massive Doc Severinsen.
How do you get the Roots to be your house band on the Tonight Show?
What a great gig!
Like that's just. It's got to be a great gig.
It's what a great like retirement gig
for them.
Yeah,
they're still touring.
No, I know, but I mean like because I saw an interview with Questlove about it, and he was talking about like getting booked, and he's like you know what, like bands have their time, and this is kind of, you know, like if I'm gonna play off into the sunset, like this is a great way to kind of like play off in the sunset.
But they're all young enough where they could do it for another 20 years.
Right. But it's not like you're not touring. You're not like, you know,
they can all like set up shop in New York.
Right. You can have a family, your family here, you go to work, you come back home, like you can do that. You don't have to like.
And I'm sure they're not putting in a lot of hours at the Tonight Show.
No, it's not.
The
like
taping is, I mean, it's, you know, it's probably an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
Right.
And then you've got some, you know, pre-production. You do your little classroom musical instrument things. Yeah. You know, Questlove comes in and does like a little sketch with Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake. You know, just things like that. It's good.
That's like that's probably a good 5 hour day, 6 hour day.
Not only that, but you know, once you find out that the Roots is an actual band and they have music, then people will go out and buy your old catalog stuff. Or stream your catalog.
Whatever it is. Yeah, dude, it's great. It's a great gig.
It is,
because he was talking about like how that's what he anticipated. Like, you know, he'd just be a house band for the show until, you know, that stopped, and then you just, you know, play the occasional, go on the little tours and shit like that. But they just kind of blew up on the show.
Play jazz fests and all that shit.
Right. Yeah. And which is kind of what they do now. They'll do like big festivals.
Yeah.
Like they'll, you know, because you still like playing to the big shows and shit like that. But you don't have to like go on like 6-month tours anywhere. Like you just sit and be the house band, be the fucking Roots. Like
it's true.
People say your name every night. Every night some famous person says your name.
Yep. The Roots.
Can't go wrong with that.
Questlove
of the Roots, right.
Yeah.
It's a good gig.
Not only that, but like it's the younger crowd that's watching that show. That's why he gets the, you know, the Ariana Grandes and the celebrities that I don't even fucking know anymore.
Yeah.
Because all the young people are watching, and then they're gonna go back and watch the Roots.
Yep, I dig it.
The Roots have been making money since before you were born, people.
True.
Well, not you people, because I'm sure they're not listening to this show. But well, you know what I mean.
What were we gonna talk about after this? I forgot.
Really?
Yeah, we were going to segue out of it, and then I forgot what we were going to segue out of it to.
We're awful at segues, man.
It doesn't matter.
Our segues are awful. That's why we should just talk. That's one of the things. Sometimes I find it hard because if we segue, it feels like we're talking about all the things that we want to talk about. If we have a conversation, we fall down the fucking black hole of shit we're talking about.
We squirrel.
Right, exactly. Like we were going to talk about Fantastic Beasts.
Because
that's just where the conversation went, but then we backed up so we could finish talking about what we want to talk about. Segways are for bitches.
Wow. This is Dave from the Matt and Dave Show. Segways are for everybody.
Whatever, man. Yes, we were talking about Fantastic Beasts before.
Because you had some thoughts on it.
Well, I did.
Because I told you that it didn't do super well.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why that surprises me, because I thought I was the only one who didn't like the first Fantastic Beasts movie. And I know there were some people that were upset about the fact that it was basically like at the end of the first Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, it turned into like this whole prequel Harry Potter, you know, telling the story of Dumbledore, kind of bait and switch, and then that's what this one's about. And now people are all up in arms because Dumbledore is gay, but in this movie he's not openly gay, and like he doesn't like get it on with Johnny Depp's character, because that's like, you know, that's one of the things. Now I haven't seen it yet. I avoid spoilers because I will see this and it will be in the theaters because both the kid and the girlfriend are huge fans. They love this movie. They want to see it. But I've heard there's like this huge twist ending, and there's all of these things happening, and people are like, we need to explain it, and people are mad because something that happens makes whatever happened in the original Harry Potter novels not true or something like that.
Oh, really?
I don't know. But people are all up in arms. Does not surprise me.
It
Do
did
you know what
62 million.
62 million?
Yeah.
Domestic or
domestic.
international? Domestic.
Yeah, domestic.
What was the worldwide?
253 million global.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. 253 million is nothing to. Is that total?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. 250. I mean, that's
Right.
something to seize at, dude. What
No.
was the budget for this movie? Probably like
180 some odd million.
Well, there you go. You probably spent another 200 million on marketing, so you already made most of your money back.
Yeah.
And you're going into the holiday weekend. It's going to be huge. People are going to watch it.
Right. But I mean, like, because I saw the chart and it was like, as far as what it's like slated to get, like if it gets to like 500, 600 million, something like that,
Mhm.
it'll be like the lowest by a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not impressed with it. I'm
Sure.
really not. I'm
No,
really not
no.
impressed with this. Did you see the first one?
No, I haven't seen the first one yet.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You really need to see more movies.
Like,
If you're going to continue to be on the show, you need to see more
you need
movies.
to watch more TV.
I watch more TV. I'm almost done with Daredevil.
Oh, that's cute.
I'm gonna. You need to watch more TV. Watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Watch Walking Dead. At least one episode.
I've seen 5 seasons of The Walking
Oh,
Dead.
have you?
Yes.
Oh, why did we never talk about that?
Because I stopped watching The Walking Dead.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? The ratings on that are going down the tube as well.
Yeah. Well,
Every week it's a new series low.
Yep.
Crazy.
It's gone down. Who cares? But yeah, I stopped.
Apparently nobody.
Yeah. I stopped right after, right before, like halfway through the governor's plot line. I was like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like,
Dude, that was like 3 seasons.
No, it was more than 3.
Yeah. The
What was
governor?
it? No, maybe it was 4. I think I stopped at 4. Whatever, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I stopped. I did watch it though, and I liked it. And then I was just like, it just was a chore to watch.
Yeah. I think that they have
And honestly, wait, before you finish that thought,
yeah.
I was the fandom too. Like I was so over the fucking Walking Dead fandom. Like just like
Never bothers me.
I'm like, dude, it's a show.
That never
Guys.
bothers me. I don't really care about that.
And I say that
I care about spoilers.
Yeah, but
I would
mean,
say the Walking Dead fans are the worst about spoilers.
I think that might have been it too. Like they were just so like, I don't know. It's just something bad taste in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. I think they spend too much time building up to what's interesting, and so by the time they get to what's interesting, you don't really fucking care anymore.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
they spent so much time building up to Negan, and then building up to All Out War, and like I just really did not care anymore. And one of the things I really liked about that show is how it was a group. It was a big group of people. It
Right.
was that like how these characters interacted with each other, what each of their places was, and then they broke them apart. And like you would see
really?
these people over here, and
Yeah,
these people
that's
over
true,
there, and
that's
these
true.
people over here. I didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care about like I wanted to see more of Daryl and Carol, and
Yeah.
then they set Carol off by herself. I don't fucking care about Carol by herself.
Right.
Who the fuck cares?
Yeah. No,
Not me.
That's fair.
And apparently millions others.
That's fair.
There are
that's
still
fair.
some people. Listen, if you're listening and you love The Walking Dead, more power to you.
Bless you.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
There's nothing wrong with you liking it. I'm just saying I don't like it.
Yeah.
This isn't a universal pan.
Yeah, I know.
I could see why it would be appealing.
People
And
like it. Yeah.
Some people just stay invested. They're like, well, look, I've already invested 6 fucking years.
and
I'm
I have
watching.
done that before.
I've done that too.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
done that too.
I
I've
won't.
done it
I
myself.
won't besmirch anybody that does that.
Not at all.
Speaking of something that I probably watched that you haven't,
Okay.
I watched the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Really? Oh, Matthew, awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I know you dropped Michael.
I
so-
did. So here's the funny thing too.
Yeah.
So at my place of current employment the other night,
Yes.
I was called Chris and I was called James. But you know what I wasn't called?
Michael.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had a meeting today.
I'm Chris James.
I had a meeting today with somebody that I connected with on Facebook first. You know what they didn't call me?
Michael.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have very little Michael going on in my life right now, and I love it. Call me Chris all day long. Call me James.
I'm Chris James.
Chris James, bitch.
I'm going to call you Chris James from now on.
That's fine.
Yep. So the Ballad of Buster Scruggs is the new Coen Brothers movie on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It's got it's like 6 short stories like tied together.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fucking good.
So it's one movie?
It's one movie, yes. They could have done. The funny thing is, they could have done it as a miniseries.
I was say, why don't you just do like 20 minute episodes or something?
They could have done that, but I kind of liked it as a movie. Like I kind of liked it where you're forced to watch all 6 back to back because they're very thematically linked.
Right.
Like, and I like the idea of like the forced binge watch.
Sure.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's gorgeous. I mean, as any Coen Brothers Western will be. I
Right.
mean, like, you could just stop the movie and put a frame around it in multiple parts, and you would be like, oh my God, this is the best picture.
Yeah.
Like, where did you get this picture? And they do that lots.
Mhm.
Like, it's just this beautiful scenic stuff. And it's not all very pleasant.
Okay, in what way?
The stories are very dark at times.
Okay.
Like,
It's
how
true, a lot of Coen Brothers stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like as a lot of like original Grimm's fairy tales, like, you know, it's good.
Mhm.
It's really good, but you're like, oh, I mean, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like, they don't do it for the sake of doing it. It's not like a Walking Dead, like bad for the sake of bad or anything like that. It's just like you see how that gets there, and it's just so sad and kind of, I guess, how indicative like that era is, that 18 you know, the 1860s Wild West, like more nuanced about the whole thing.
Right.
It's really, really good. I highly recommend people watch it. Don't watch it expecting like this, like bubbly, like, you know, wagons east. Here we go. Going to make
That's
a
not
good
Coen
thing.
Brothers, though.
No, I
If
know.
you know the Coen Brothers, you're not going to get that.
No, I know, but like,
I'm assuming that's like a huge push of the marketing behind this. Like, hey, it's a Coen Brothers Netflix.
it is.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Who's in it?
Oh man. James Franco.
Mhm.
Stephen Root
Okay.
is in it. Tim Heineken.
Tim Heineken.
Tim Heideke. I don't remember his name. He's a good singer.
Tim Heineken. Tim McGraw?
No, it's not Tim fucking McGraw. I know who Tim McGraw is.
You said he was a good singer, so.
Yeah, no, he's an actor. He's a known actor. You'll know him when you see him. A bunch of people. Tyne Daly is in it. Like, the girl, the lead from The Big Sick, is in it. Like, and there's a lot of people in it because it's 6 separate stories.
Right.
Tom Waits is in it. I think
Oh,
one
wow.
of my favorite ones is the Tom Waits one.
Okay.
And it's just, for the most part, just him in it, like a very man versus nature type of thing. And
What's it called again?
The whole movie's The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
So is that your stream of the week?
Yeah, I'd fucking make that a stream of the week in the heartbeat.
Yeah, we should bring
Yeah.
that back.
Yeah.
Um,
There's so many more streaming things to make the stream of the week now.
So that's true. I wait for the Disney streaming
Yeah,
service.
there's going to be so many streams of the
I'm
week.
so freaking excited about. By
Yeah.
the way.
You should watch it.
So you want to hear the most controversial thing that was ever been said on the show since we both admitted we'd never seen The Godfather?
Please.
I'm not a big Coen Brothers fan,
Oh, that's fair.
like at all.
That's absolutely fair.
I honestly cannot tell you one Coen Brothers film that I've seen that I liked.
Really?
Yeah. That I didn't fall asleep through or just was bored to tears by.
Really?
Yeah, it just does not. And listen, there are some filmmakers out there that just do not speak to you, and the Coen Brothers, for me, are one of them. I
Wow.
just don't get them.
That's fair. That's fair. I
All their
respect that.
movies to me, they look great. I mean, and I can appreciate their talent,
Yeah.
and that's
It's
why
just not your
I'm not
bag.
sitting here saying they suck because
Yeah.
I know they don't suck.
Yeah.
They don't
It's-
suck.
It's just not your thing.
It's just really not my thing at all.
That is perfectly
you
reasonable.
know, it's like country music.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't all suck.
wow.
Like, people love country music, and I
Yeah,
get that.
I love country music.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
But it's just not my bag. It's just not my thing.
This sort of thing isn't your
It's not
bag.
my bag, baby.
Comma, baby.
Honestly. Yeah, so I've never, I mean, name a Coen Brothers movie. And see, here's the thing, too. I can say this because I've tried.
No, dude.
You know, I'm not sitting up, on my,
Your high ivory
on my
tower
high
perch.
ivory tower saying, Coen Brothers, they're all shit. Well, have you
Right.
seen any? No, but I just know they are.
I know that.
No, I've watched some. I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
This isn't
you know?
Michael Bay.
Oh, God. All right, that's a different story. We've watched Michael Bay, and he does suck.
He does suck.
I'll
I'll still stand by The Rock, though. Big ups to Michael Bay for The Rock.
dude, I liked, was that one with John Krasinski, 13 Hours?
Oh, I didn't see it. Is
13
that
Hours
Michael
Later?
Bay? Did he produce it or direct
No,
it?
he directed it.
No shit.
That was one of those, like, he snuck in between Transformer gigs.
Oh, neat. I should probably see that then.
Yeah. So, I mean, he does decent work. And listen, nobody can shoot an action explosion like Michael Bay.
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
So he's got some positives.
Nobody can
but overall, he
creepily
sucks.
swing a camera around a
Right.
girl's butt like Michael Bay.
Right. Exactly.
Nobody.
So he should be more of like a cinematographer.
yeah.
You
that'd be
know, or like a
great.
camera operator.
If I could just get him to.
But let's not have him be in charge of telling stories.
Don't. If I could just get your taste to be limited to butt camera and
Yeah.
explosions, that would
Yeah.
be good. If I did a
Why don't you just do porn?
if I did a porn
There
with
you go.
explosions, I would love Michael Bay.
You can make the argument that all porn has explosions.
Boom! All the good ones.
Yep.
Uh,
And that's the last Matt and Dave show.
no, it's not even
That's
close
it.
to the last Matt and Dave show.
We said worse.
Yeah.
You said worse.
I've multiple times. I've said worse not on this show. But so at the end, like I really liked it. I highly recommend it. Matt doesn't like the Coen Brothers.
No, I mean,
so
when you said that's
you
probably
can
why
fucking
I didn't
wipe his opinion. With,
I did know that there was a Coen Brother thing coming out. I did
That's
know
why
James
it's not
Franco
even-
was a
yeah.
part of it. That's why it didn't even register to me. And maybe because I've gone through and I've thumbed down every
Coen Brothers thing
movie.
ever.
Netflix is like, we'll pass on this guy.
pass, hard pass. This is Dave from the Matt and Dave Show here with a spoiler warning. The next segment you're about to hear contains spoilers for House of Cards, the series. Spoilers for House of Cards, the series. We now return you to your regularly scheduled podcasting endeavors.
We'll pass on this guy.
So the other one I saw on Netflix this week is I finally watched all the rest of House of Cards.
Yeah, and I just started watching it. I've only watched the first episode.
Okay.
Is weird, the first episode.
Yeah.
And I have not heard any good things about it.
I
It's 8 episodes.
yes.
Right
Right in your wheelhouse.
It is. That's why I was like, oh, perfect. 8 episodes. This was my argument.
Yep.
8 episodes. It's
Yep.
an 8-hour movie. That's all I need.
It needs to be longer.
This season?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, let's just catch everybody up.
We're just gonna catch up.
So,
In case you missed
yeah,
it.
Kevin Spacey, what used to be the lead of House of Cards. I think we've talked about it on the show before. He was outed as creepy. Not even gay. We don't care. Like, we all kind of knew he was. So
Well, the funny thing, he was outed as like creepy, rapey, and then he was like, "Guys,
guys, but I'm gay.
Yeah, like oh,
And we're like, so
sir, we just charged you with robbing a bank. That's not an offense,
right. You've been caught robbing a bank. How do you feel? Well, I'm a
gay.
murderer, so you know.
Well, I'm gay.
Yeah.
So I'll just walk out. Thank you.
Right. So they were going to cancel House of Cards, and
Because they'd already started shooting
people got up in arms because they cast Greg Kinnear and Diane Lane and all these people. They set it up the last season. They set up for Claire to be president.
Yes.
And they were going to do all that stuff. And they spent this is what, season 7?
This is season
7, I think.
6. I think it's
6, 7, whatever it is. The last few years, it's the best part of this show has been the Underwood's relationship.
Yes.
I believe that it's been their relationship.
Yes.
Because no matter what happens, and that's why I think one of the reasons, like season 3, was it season 3? Was my least favorite.
Yeah.
Like where they have like these marital issues and they're just really bickering at each other.
Yeah.
Like
You didn't like it as much.
I did not, because one of the things, like no matter how shitty they were,
They
no
were
matter
on the
what
same
was
page.
happening, they were always on the same page.
Yep. I get you.
They got each other's backs, and if Francis was being a little bitch, Claire would call him out on it.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "You're right."
You're right.
And vice versa. Like,
Yep.
hey, you want to go off and sleep with this dude? Just come back.
Yep.
Like, whatever they did, however bad, like horrible people they were, they had each other's backs. And
Yep.
then when they started to not have each other's back, so this first episode of this new season, they've written Kevin Spacey off unapologetically.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they basically just said, "Hey, the last time we saw you, you were impeached, or you stepped down so you wouldn't be impeached,
Yeah.
and you're waiting to be pardoned by your wife,
Yep.
and that's where we're hoping to find you, and how you guys are gonna get back to this."
Yeah.
And now he's just fucking dead. And the first episode doesn't really. It hints at a lot of things. Like I get the hint that somebody had something to do with his death.
Yeah.
But
It's a
then-
slow drip.
But then there's a
For
lot
that,
of
by the
other
way.
people. There's a lot of things going on. Like Doug's in some sort of psychiatric hospital thing, and this is happening, and these people are gone, and now we're talking about. There's a lot. It's almost like we've dropped in the middle of a brand new show.
So, here's some thoughts on this. As a person who's seen all 8 episodes, so they had already filmed, I believe, 2 episodes, and you can tell.
Okay.
So, because they had to do a rewrite, having already filmed 2 scripts worth of material, and I'm guessing written the rest, or had really, really good ideas of where this was going. So you'll notice throughout the series that, like, they kind of shoehorn some characters in locations.
Okay.
Or like what kind of like when you know, like, you would probably pick up on like why certain characters are staying in places. It's not because they should be there. It's because they had already built that set on the sound studio and they need to use it.
Right.
Like they, that was one of the things they just couldn't go back and, redo. And I think the season would have been serviced better if they had just nuked the whole structure they had written and started from scratch.
Right.
Like, I really do, but I realize that would have cost, like, infinitely more money.
And they probably lost a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Going back and trying to rewrite or fix whatever they did.
Yeah, they hired 2 more people.
Yeah.
Like, they spent some money on it.
Did they hire
Diane Lane and Greg
after
Kinnear
they fired him?
After they fired him,
Okay.
yeah. Those are 2 characters that were not supposed to be in this.
Yeah. I didn't even really understand what was happening with him in the first episode.
It's tough. There's a lot of things where you're like, okay, clearly, well, not clearly, but I feel like there's spots where you can really see that, they clearly just substituted this guy for Kevin Spacey in the plot.
Yeah, he does come off. Okay, all right,
and that's not, or even this girl. Like, you can tell they just substituted people for Kevin Spacey's. Like, that character was supposed to move the ball a certain place,
and now they've got other.
And
characters.
they have another character,
but they're secondary characters, not main characters.
Yeah, they're they have different motivations for moving that ball, but they had already like built this thing to have that ball moved in, so they still have to move the ball. That's just my take.
I gotta tell you, like, I'm pretty, when it comes to following plot lines, and even stuff that I don't completely understand, I'll follow along pretty well. Because that's like, when I watch these things, I watch for the story. So following the story,
absolutely, yeah.
So if there's something that I don't, if there's something I don't understand, it's because it's not a very strongly written storyline. And there, at least through this first episode, I'm not quite clear on why Diane Lane and Greg Kinnear are in this show. And there was this weird moment where he's in bed reading, and then all of a sudden he gets up. And he starts, it had to have been in the middle of the night, could have been early in the morning, but like, it looked like he was going to bed, he was reading a book, he gets up, he gets on his treadmill, he turns the TV on, and he's watching some news clip about Claire and being the president or whatever, and he's just, that was it. That was like the whole setup. Like, it was 5 minutes of that. Like, okay, he's in bed, we're setting him up in bed reading, and he's going to come to some sort of realization, or somebody's going to come in, or he's going to get a phone call. No, he's going to get out of bed, and he's going to turn on his elliptical, and he's going to start exercising in his PJs and watching TV, and I was like, it just felt out of place. It didn't feel very House of Cards.
So the tone shifts because Francis is a terrible person. Like, Francis Underwood's a terrible character, terrible person,
but he's a wonderful character. The terrible person that you root for and you feel bad rooting for.
Well, that's the thing. Like, but that's the reason you watch the show. You don't want a nice person. You want a terrible person.
And I think, you know what my problem is too? Like, I feel like Claire talking to the camera this time, which they kind of set up in the last one.
I'm fine
like
with.
Like, the very last thing, I was okay with it. But the way that she's talking about him, it's almost like, it's like when you root for a character through the first movie, and they make it through, and you're like, yes! And then the sequel comes out, and you're like, you die within the first 2 minutes. It's like, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah.
What was the point of watching this first movie and rooting for you to make it to ride off into the sunset?
I agree.
And you're dead within the first 2 minutes.
It's got problems.
It's like they completely forgot the first 5 seasons or 6 seasons.
And they try and make it her show, and so they try and do some tonal shifts.
And let's be clear that we're saying we would love a Claire show.
Yeah, if you want to give me a Claire show,
Claire.
Oh, dude,
I love Claire, but I know you love Claire.
Yeah, like if you're gonna give me a Claire show, give me a Claire show. Like, give me something where,
Would it be better if now I didn't see the first new season of Roseanne.
Uh-huh.
I haven't watched any of the Connors.
So would it have been better if they just ripped the Band-Aid off and never deal with it again?
Well, but I keep it up with. Would it have been better if they would have gone the way of the Connors and just made it a new show? You know, House of Cards. You could say, you know, it could have been Queen of, you know, Diamonds or Queen of Spades. That's what you could have called the show. All about Claire.
Right.
Would have been better if it would have just been a spinoff right away.
I think it might have been. I think trying to, but at the same time, you wouldn't have gotten any of the.
But you could have
resolutions to some of the things, you know.
But making it more about, because you set up like, how is she going to be the president? You know, how is she? I think you could have made it more about how do you go forward? How does she continue the plans that she made with Francis without Francis?
Yeah.
You know, how do you deal with that? How does she pick up the pieces? Maybe trying to clear his name, or you know, maybe she starts. I don't know, just something else.
And there's a lot of things like. And that's the thing, I think, in service of trying to like close down angles and stuff like that. People do things that are just weird characteristically for them because they're trying to, you know, like I said, carry the ball from one point to another. Characters do things you don't expect them to. Like I think they really waffled on Claire's character a bit here and there. Yeah, I don't know. It's a mixed bag, kind of hot mess for me on that season. I mean, honestly, I can say I didn't like it. I shouldn't even say mixed bag.
Really? Okay, so...
But I can say I didn't like it, and I understand why they got there, though.
But you could still not like something, Dave, and understand, like, the business side of it.
I do, and which is where I'm at. Like, I don't like it, but I get why you got there.
So without giving anything away, this was the series finale.
Yes.
The show ended.
It did.
Are you satisfied with the ending?
I mean, it ended.
Wow.
Yeah. It ended, and again, but it's honestly my dissatisfaction with the ending has to do with the fact that, you know, they were just trying to like shoehorn a bunch of shit into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and try and make it work, trying to make what they had. You know, I equated it to like watching a one-legged person run 6 marathons, and they like do great on all 5, and they just kind of finish the 6th.
You're like, hey, that was a great effort.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
or let me put it this way: a person runs 6 marathons. They have 2 legs for 5, and they're great, and they just kind of finish the 6th.
Okay.
And you're like, well, I appreciate, like, I know you're not working with what you had before, and I love that you finished it, but you know your time was 10 hours and 42 minutes, so that's not great. But at the same time, I couldn't have finished a marathon with 2 legs. So I respect you for, you know.
So you respect them for trying.
I respect it. Yeah.
So let me ask you this question now.
Yeah.
Okay, because you've seen it. You know the drama, you know the history.
I do.
I like to read comments on posts to things.
I love reading comments.
Love reading comments. And a lot of the comments have been, well, Kevin Spacey wasn't there, so the show's got to suck. If they would have brought back Kevin Spacey, it would have been better. Kevin Spacey. But, what, 2 years ago, it was like, Kevin Spacey, never again. So, my question is this. If they waited another year and had Kevin Spacey, the first 2 episodes they shot with him, and then they could have figured out a way to kind of wrap up his thing without having him in too much more. 2 questions. Would they have been forgotten because of the way that and we don't have to dive too deep into this, I'm just kind of curious. The way that our society works these days, it's you know, the hot button issue today is different from the one tomorrow. So in 3 years, Kevin Spacey might be able to do something, show his face again. So would they have gotten away with that if they could have? They waited another year. And 2, would that have helped the narrative of the final season?
No to both.
Okay.
No, they couldn't have gotten away with that for a year, not even 2 years. I mean, honestly, if they waited 3 years, they couldn't have gotten away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that guy is burnt.
Mm-hmm.
Burnt.
But what if it was a good finale?
Burnt. That dude is. I wouldn't have watched it. So
You wouldn't have watched it?
No.
Really?
No. I would not have supported that. So You could write the best show on the planet.
But how many people would have?
Not enough. Like, I mean, honestly, how many people would have canceled their Netflix subscription?
Yeah, but
Like their whole subscription.
yeah,
No.
but
No. I you know what?
would they have really?
Here's the thing. I will take this badly mediocre thing I got and just like still kept going rather than, people noping the fuck out and the anger and the vitriol. I mean, God, listening to fucking Louis C.K. trying to do a comic set.
People were, I think,
Like, that's just him trying to do stand-up.
the problem with
untelevised.
the problem with him doing that is that he didn't acknowledge. I don't know. Maybe he waited. I think maybe he came back too soon. I think if he waited a little longer, it probably would have been a little bit more
Maybe.
forgiving.
I don't know.
But
I don't think, like, people tend to forget things.
I don't think Louis
completely
C.K.
agree.
is done.
I don't think he's done.
Mm-mm.
But, I wouldn't put him in a starring vehicle on a Netflix show.
Right.
That's fine. They're fine.
You want them to drink it up?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's coffee.
It's coffee. There'll be a little
There's no
wire.
liquor in it.
Yeah.
I wish there was.
A batch of spilled coffee, and now my dogs are going to be super caffeinated. And they're like 4-pound dogs, so this will be like it'll be like doing an 8-ball for them.
This is gonna be awesome.
Anyways, yeah, no. So no,
All
I don't.
right, okay.
No, I don't think it would have. I wouldn't have watched it. I think a lot of people wouldn't have watched it. I think it would have garnered a lot of negative publicity and would not have been worth the effort. And then you would have waited an extra 2 years for
Nothing.
bad, as opposed to like you had the sets built, you had the people already
Yep.
in place. Just limp it
You're
across.
trying to save people's jobs.
Right, yeah. Limp it across the finish line, declare a victory, get the fuck out. Move the fuck on.
So I agree with you, to a certain extent.
Which is fair.
I would not have watched it either. I would
Yeah.
not have supported it. I would not have canceled my Netflix subscription.
Well, no, I wouldn't have either,
Um,
but like
But I think I probably would. I would have been. I don't know. It depends on the situation. If it was the situation I just explained, I might be curious just to see like what they were going to do and then how it ended up like turning out.
oh, I am morbidly curious.
Yeah.
I would love to see the scripts.
yeah.
The first two, I would
I
love
would love
to
to see all this. I'm sure they had the whole season written.
Yeah, I would love to
love
see
to
the
read those
written.
scripts, yeah.
Um,
Maybe one day we will. I don't know.
So
that
at-
would be cool.
So I also, at the end of that, feeling deeply unsatisfied, so I started watching the British House of Cards.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's cool. It's really, really cool.
Didn't it only last like one season, or isn't that like a mini series? Didn't go.
Yeah,
much longer?
it didn't go very
Yeah.
long, but it's very succinct. Like, it's like 6 or 7 episodes.
The British know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. But I mean, and it really zips right the fuck along. Like, they move.
And that's
Right.
been my argument, right?
I know,
because
that's
it's
why I'm
all
telling you
filler.
about-
It's
yeah.
all filler for 13 episodes.
That's what I'm telling you.
All
Like,
filler.
They zip right along. It's weird because it's in the 90s too.
Sure. Oh,
like
yeah.
it's a very 90s show, but it's good. It's really, really good. And I'm just morbidly curious to see what they do. To see what now that
What
I've
it would've
seen
been.
the full of it, like I want to see like the inception of it. Like what
I don't
they
think
based
there
it
would have
off
been a
of.
lot of people. I don't think there would have been as much outrage as you think. I think we've moved on, and I think if anything,
Because Netflix ate $20 million on that dude.
oh, I know,
They canceled. They have a Gore Vidal biopic that he did.
I
That's
know.
gone.
I know,
That will never be seen again.
I know,
Louis
dude.
C.K.'s movie is gone,
Gone.
never to be seen again.
Mhm. I think one day we'll see these things.
You're gonna have to pirate it.
I think we'll see these things.
You're gonna have
gonna
to pirate it.
It's gonna be like the Star Wars Christmas special. You'll find it.
Oh, I'm not saying you won't find it,
The
but
original
you're-
Fantastic Four movie. You'll find it.
But you're not gonna.
It's already out. Did you hear about that?
Oh, they released the Roger Corman
They
one.
did.
They officially released.
It's
the Roger
somewhere
Corman
out there
one?
on the internet. Like it's easily accessible now.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, you don't have to
Oh,
be
good.
like you type person to
Me
you can find anything.
Oh, a me type person.
That's
I
right.
am offended
we don't-
and complimented.
We don't
by
need any
that.
more you type people.
Oh, I like me type peoples.
I like one you type peoples, and you're it, sir. I'm sorry. You take up the entire
Oh,
capacity of my
I
liking of you type
appreciate that.
peoples.
Well, and on that note, I think we should end on me type peoples.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're gonna end it.
All right. Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
It's a little short, but okay.
you're a little short
I'm taller than you.
for a
dude.
stormtrooper.
Nice. All right. Well,
Nice.
hey, I guess this is our Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah.
So happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
And watch Adam's Family Values.
I was gonna say watch Dutch, but okay.
Yeah, that's my Thanksgiving movie.
Dutch is mine.
Yeah, Adam's Family Values.
Dutch.
I also actually, really quick before we bounce,
The Addams Family.
there it is. Jesus, what a terrible cash in.
It really
Like,
is.
hey, what's the laziest theme song to a movie you could write? Yo, what's our hit single? Whoomp, there it is. What if I just put the name of the movie in between the whoomp and there it is?
Right.
Yeah, all right. I'll pay you how much? $30 million. Done.
They couldn't even get the whole title in it because it's
Well,
the Addams Family Values.
Right. The Addams Family. There it is.
Right.
Jesus, how lazy.
Very lazy.
Oh man. Anyways, so we were talking about Crystal Pepsi at my place of employment today,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Oh my god,
This is fantastic.
yeah." Well, because we were talking about the Van Halen song Right Now,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, that was on the Crystal Pepsi." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Dude, did you ever see the Crystal Gravy ad?" They're like, "What?" So SNL did a parody,
I remember this.
Crystal Gravy, and I was like, "Oh my god, it was for Thanksgiving!" Like
Yeah.
they did it for the Thanksgiving episode, and I'm like, "There's nothing more Thanksgiving than the fucking like Crystal Gravy SNL ad. Just that thick Caro syrup being poured on mashed potatoes and sliced turkey. It's so disgusting. You see, like, one of the cast members just like dip a chicken leg into it and just
Dude.
take a bite of it.
You made me so happy now that we're not doing turkey on Thanksgiving.
Oh
in my
god, it
house.
looks like if someone ate ectoplasm after. Like, it's like somebody slimed a Thanksgiving turkey and then it was like, fuck it, Slimer's clean. Fuck it.
It's like Slimer's jizz.
Slimer's clean. Fuck it. It's ghost ectoplasm is cleaner than human ectoplasm. It's fine.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.